Hello again, boys and girls. Justin, drafting Return to Ravnica, yet again. This time I'm going to try to win the draft, maybe change things up a little bit, pick the right cards, build the right deck, play correctly. So we'll see how that works out for us. Maybe something exciting will happen. This pack, there are a few fine cards to pick. There's a Stab Wound. There is a Lotleth Troll, and there's a Rixmati Guildmage, all which I would be happy to first pick. Behind that, nothing terribly exciting. Vassal Soul, Sunspire Griffin, both fine. So this time I have to choose between picking, I think, Stab Wound, which is the most open card. It's very good, and we can play either a Golgari or a Rakdos deck. Rixmati Guildmage, hoping to play Rakdos or Lotleth Troll, hoping to play Golgari. So I'll take the Lotleth Troll simply because it is the strongest card of the lot, though Golgari is far from my favorite guild to draft. So we're just gonna roll with the punches here. So this pack is much less exciting. There is, I think, of the cards I'm interested in, there's a Void Wielder, which is fine. Happy to draft that. There's also an Izzet Charm, which, while better than the Wielder, it is also commits us to a specific color combination, and not an outstanding one at that. Beyond that, there's not much. There's a Scorpion, which we could pick to go with our Troll, and there's Pursuit of Flight, Jailbreaker, nothing terribly exciting. So I could take the Scorpion and just try to go hard Golgari here. I guess the next pick would probably be Izzet Charm. I'm going to take the Scorpion. I'm going to stay the course here. So if I had taken an Izzet Charm, I could follow up with a Tower Drake, which isn't terribly exciting. And otherwise, yeah, this pack, it's got a Centaur Healer, which is the card that I like most out of this pack. And otherwise, a bunch of middling cards. Tower Drake, probably the next best card. Sunspire Griffin, actually the next best card, and then Tower Drake. And then Rites of Reaping, Avenging Arrow, and a bunch of garbage. Nothing terribly exciting. So I could take the Healer. The problem with Healer is I really want to be playing it in I want to be playing it in a Selesnya deck that does Selesnya things. So far I don't have cards that do that. I don't want to be playing green-white without tokens. That seems poor. I could take a Rites of Reaping, which is fairly underwhelming. Like, forcing Golgari here seems hardly good based on the cards available to me right now. But I'm going to do it just because that's who I am. I can't help myself. I am compelled. So this pack, there's clearly the best card in Annihilating Fire. Some other okay cards. Azorius Keyrune, Eyes in the Skies. Longlegs, Indrik, Syncopate. Not a bad pack, not a great one. Annihilating Fire, I think not enough to move into right here. If we had taken, I'd be happier at this point if I had taken probably Izzet Charm, Tower Drake, Annihilating Fire. I like that opening a little better than this one. But it's not terribly, what we've got here is not terribly worse. So the pick, I think, is between Longlegs and Indrik, and I'm just going to take the Longlegs. Indrik, I like to have a few of, but tend to be able to draft more than I want of Indriks. Plus you have Trestle Trolls available to you, which are sort of like Indrik's smaller but more nimble brother. Longlegs is something you want to be able, you want to have large creatures in Golgari. You don't really have other great ways to win outside of Stab Wound, which I passed. So I passed a Stab Wound. So in this pack, for us, there's a Shambler, there's a Scorpion, Tavern Swindler, Guildgate. Guildgate, I don't really see a reason to pick. Maybe if you had taken an Ogre Jailbreaker so far. I think the picks here is between the Shambler and the Scorpion. I like Scorpion a little more objectively, but Shambler, I think it's important to have card at this cost to play, and his is pretty good. His scavenge, it's the same cost as the Scorpion, and just being able to trade him and scavenge it's a good thing. Occasionally you will also get to Swamp Walk, but that doesn't happen as often. This pack is not terribly exciting. I will take the Launch Party. I have a couple of scavenge creatures, which that's okay with. And otherwise, there's a Skywatch, a Rester, Fall the Gavel. Hopefully I can pick up some Gatekeepers. Those are good fodder for the Launch Party. So in this pack, I have a shot at a second Long Legs, or a Revenant, or a Dryad Militant. I do, if I am playing Golgari, I do prefer to be playing an aggressive Golgari deck. Unfortunately, we don't really have the makings of a great aggressive Golgari deck yet. I want to be playing Dreg Manglers in that deck. Kadoltha Guildmage. Here, I think I still will take the Militant in that it's just good to have. Maybe it will come together and I'll have that aggressive deck I want. Otherwise, it is a creature for the Troll, and it does trade early. Otherwise, it doesn't really do a lot. Militant isn't a card that I'm crazy about playing in most decks. So here, I think the pick is going to be Terrace Worm. Other possible picks are Grave Betrayal and nothing else. You know what? I'm going to go crazy because that's what I'm here for, to go crazy. I'm going to take the Grave Betrayal. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of removal yet for this to be any good, and even then it's not very good. But if I'm playing a Golgari deck, I do have a Lotleth Troll who can he can defend pretty effectively. And I mean, Grave Betrayal, it's not good, but it does do the kind of thing that a Golgari deck wants to do, which is draw out the game and just overpower your opponent in the late game. So that was a well-designed card for that reason. Here I'll just take the Monitor, it's fine. This is Pursuit of Flight, somewhat late. Otherwise, nothing too exciting. I'll take the Swindler. That Tower Drake tabled, so that shows you how my what my draft order, my evaluations, how they compare to my table mates, such as Goat Fishing and Strapped Scientist. It's exciting in its own way, so I'll take the Arrow here. Probably I won't play it. I'll take the Slug here. I hope I don't have to play that. So not a great deck so far. I basically have a Lotleth Troll and a bunch of middling to poor cards. Arrow I don't want to play. So I'm hoping to be able to build a deck around Grave Betrayal. So defensive creatures and removal seems like a plan. Chaos Imps. Holy moly. So we had taken a Guildmage. It didn't really seem like that last pack would have been a great pack to have taken the Guildmage first. It is already sort of a dicey first pick when there are other good first picks in the pack, because you don't always have the opportunity to draft Rakdos, and otherwise Guildmage is not very good as a splash card, so it's a bit of a gamble in that way. Chaos Imps, not good, only good if we're thinking to be playing Axebane Guardian and as a splash, but that's pretty ambitious here. Rogue's Passage, we would like to have the passage. In this kind of deck, you really need that if you don't have other uncommons or rares to win with. Otherwise, Herald I wouldn't mind having, actually. I think the pick here is between the Herald and the Troll, hoping that one of them tables. Herald is not great. But it is a 3/3. Screw it, I took the Trestle Troll. I'm trying to draft a Grave Betrayal deck. So this pack is very unfortunate in that there are many cards which we wish that we could be playing. There's Deathrite Shaman, there's an Ultimate Price and a Stab Wound, there's also a Launch Party in Indrik, an Augur Spree, which we're not necessarily looking to draft, but also quite good. Annihilating Fire, Rakdos Key Rune. So this pack is chock full of goodies for us. I think Ultimate Price and Stab Wound are pretty darn close. I think how good they are depends on the deck. Stab Wound I'd like to have more in Golgari because you do need to use it to win the game with. Ultimate Price is just an efficient removal spell. It doesn't do much else. Deathrite Shaman, probably about as good as those cards as well, but it is a rare and it's worth some amount of tickets. I don't think it's many, but it's worth something. And it's fun. It's rare. You can do things with it. It helps draw the game out, which is sort of what I want to be doing. So if we can pick up some that card that draws cards and puts the other ones in the graveyard, green-black instant card. For some reason, I'm completely blanking on what it's called at this point. Grizzly Salvage. That's good with the Shaman. And just trading guys is good. Playing removal is good. There's a lot that's good with him. He's fun, so we'll draft that. Here, I think the pick is going to be between Beetle, Revenant, Jared's Orders. We could play to get the Troll, but it's not that exciting. Silverhead isn't good enough. Launch Party, 2's okay. I don't really want to be playing 2. Yeah, I'm just going to take the Beetle. Not my favorite pick, but we want to make sure that we can get to the mid to late game. If we get rolled over with a handful of Scorpions, we're not in great shape. So here, there's an Underworld Connections. And beyond that, Crocodile, Daggerdome Imp, both okay with Scavenge. They're not tearing up the charts, however. Also an Archweaver, which isn't really what I'm looking for in this deck. I don't have any acceleration. He isn't a bad man or spider. It is not a bad spider. But I'll take the Connections. I think this is the deck that Connections is decent in, where you can draw out the game and then just try to draw to your more powerful cards. You're trying to win by attrition, and that helps there. This pack pretty much only Dredge Beetle for me. Wow, there are a lot of red cards this pack. So it seems that the people upstream from me were drafting red, because I don't remember seeing a lot of good red in the first pack other than that Annihilating Fire. It could be that my memory's failing me, but that Splatter Thug, Annihilating Fire, Frostburn weird, and then these other cards aren't terrible either. That's quite exciting. So here I think there's nothing really for us. I could take the Sanctuary looking to possibly splash it, or the Saber, which just seems awful. I'm not trying to do that, I don't think. So I'll take the Sanctuary, and maybe we'll splash that. Holy moly. So this pack, the Augur Spree. 7th pick, Augur Spree. There's a Gutter Snipe, Pursuit of Flight. Still red, seems underdrafted. So I could pick the Spree and try to splash that. That does work with our Grave Betrayal plan. Or there's Rhino, which is pretty mediocre, but we do have some Scavenge. I'll take the Spree. We'll try to get a Promenade in there. I could take a Guildgate here to enable the Spree over the Savage Surge. Yeah, I think I will do that. And the Rogue's Passage tabled, which is good, and there's some late Izzet cards here. I guess they're not strictly Izzet cards. So here is actually a kind of a tough pick, because there's a Towering Indrik, which we're happy to play, but there's also a Key Rune, and we did take the Augur Spree. And that kind of shores up our red mana there. We may not end up needing it, however. And we do need some way to not die to flyers. I'll take the Key Rune. The Augur Spree seems good enough that we want it. So here is the pick. I think it's going to be the Promenade. We could have taken the other card there, and it would have been fine, but the Dark Revenant, I wouldn't mind having in this deck. But I don't love it either. So this pack, we'll just take the Rakdos Term as an awkward sideboard card, perhaps. And there's that Search Warrant, which I love to talk about as a, hey, what a neat card to draft and never play. Look at that lizard. Let me see that backpack, you dumb lizard. That lizard is not happy.